Hello, everyone, and welcome to Book It Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett. And with me, as always, is the ravishing one, Anthony Hall.
It's Rick Rude.
Yeah, it's Rick Rude.
Yes.
I didn't go for a complicated one. I was just like, that's fun.
Yes. That's a great way to start off our new batch of episodes, new year, 2022.
Yes.
Me guessing the nickname right.
Hey,
first try.
We'll see if you can continue that streak. All your what is it? The records have been reset.
Yeah. The rankings
Just like in
are
AEW.
reset. Yeah.
The rankings.
And I will immediately get it wrong next time we record.
But yes, Happy New Year, everybody. And we are back after the holidays here to start off the year with a great episode. Later in the episode, we'll take a look back at what 2021 was for us in the first 50 episodes of the podcast. If you missed it, please go check out episode 50, the wonderful conversation that we had with is indelible a great, is that even a word? I don't know. I'm trying to give an interesting compliment to RJ City.
The Frank Zappa of wrestling.
The Frank Zappa of wrestling.
Self-proclaimed Frank Zappa of wrestling.
Go check out our episode with RJ City because I think it was really fun. It was really interesting. It was definitely what I wasn't expecting, but it was a fun, great conversation about golden era wrestling. And RJ City knows a ton about it. And so it was a fun conversation. So go check that out. But today we're going to be doing something that's slightly different. I mean, we're not dream booking a feud, but instead we are dream booking what we think will happen in the year 2022 in the world of professional wrestling.
That's right. Get your bingo cards ready because that's exactly what we're doing. We are going to make some realistic and some bold, outrageous predictions for the year 2022 in the world of professional wrestling.
Exactly. So if you enjoy what we do here at Book It Vince, please follow, subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you get your podcasts on. And please make sure to review the podcast as well. You can obviously review on Apple Podcasts, but now you can also do reviews and star ratings on Spotify podcasts as well. Ooh. So please, if you do enjoy it, leave a review, give feedback because we do appreciate it. And let's start making some predictions. So as Anthony said, get out your bingo cards. And just like how this podcast was created in the sense of like, it became sort of a meme for a long time of people putting out a dream match and saying, book it, Vince, like do it already. Every single time something happens crazy in professional wrestling or even just in the world, people say, did anyone have that on their 2022 bingo card? And I thought, why don't we actually make like a real bingo card of just our crazy predictions for the year and then see at the end of the year if any of them happened. And so this is sort of us seeing what we think is going to happen. Maybe we'll come up with some crazy ideas. And also, if you go over to our Twitter, you will be able to find your own bingo card that you can download and fill out. That is me making future Marty make sure he has to do it. So, and then share it with us because we'd love to see what your predictions are for the year. But yeah, so I think first thing that we obviously will establish is that a bingo card has 25 spaces. So we're going to come up with 25 unique, either possibly realistic or crazy ideas. And I guess the question is, what do we think? And I think we should also try to make it be like pretty even, as like, you know, like maybe like a quarter of it is WWE, a quarter of it is AEW, and then like try to even it out. So it's not all at WWE, not all AEW, not all the independents or ROH or like Impact and stuff or New Japan. So.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll kind of figure that out as we go.
What I was going to say is, what do we think is the free space? Which is, you know, in bingo is you're guaranteed you get it no matter what. What do we think is a guarantee to happen in all of professional wrestling? It could be specifically WWE or whatever, but I just mean like, what's something that we know will happen?
A wrestling match will happen on TV.
Okay, well, that is, well, I mean, hey, I don't have cable. I stream. So technically,
a wrestling match will be broadcast live.
I think that a great, it's maybe controversial, but I think what a great middle space is that a world champion will be released.
And that's from just any brand at all.
I would say specifically WWE, but it's a bold claim.
Yeah,
it
that's
could just
very
be a champion. A champion seems too broad because everybody gets championships now.
Yeah, but that's what a free space is supposed to be, is broad, because everybody gets it, right? Because if you're talking about, if a former champion gets released, is a good free space. However, if you're like, oh, a former world champion gets released, then that makes the amount of people
that's true
way less. Plus, they already released a bunch of people, so now the pool is even smaller. It's like, what are they gonna do? Release Roman Reigns? No. A bold prediction number 1: Roman Reigns is released. No, but I think a former champion, a former WWE champion is released, is a good free space. However, that is, it's sad. We never root for somebody to lose their job. But we hope that whomever this former champion to be released finds greener pastures in a different promotion. So
I just think that, I mean, we could also say, could we make it the caveat that it's like, is released / leaves?
Yeah, sure.
Because then that makes it a bit more open as well. That makes it pretty open, and then it's not as like sad.
That's the free space.
Yep.
So does that count towards the 25, or do we have 25 now? Oh, okay. So now we have 24 more.
No, if you remember a bingo board, the free space is the very middle spot, because then you can make lines any which way.
Bingo. All right. Amazing.
What do you think? What's a prediction that you have that you think like is almost guaranteed to happen, or is like, we'll start spitting these out,
Okay, well, I think Johnny Gargano debuts for another promotion is guaranteed to happen. I don't think he's coming back.
No,
but I don't know where he'll go. I have a pretty decent idea, but I would rather, like, instead of being like Johnny Gargano goes to AEW, which would be obviously the easiest thing to do, I'm going to make it even easier for us and and everybody following along and make it.
I feel like
he debuts in any promotion.
I feel like we should say specifically where.
Oh, fine. Well, signs are pointing to AEW, right? Yeah, I think
because basically what Johnny Gargano debuts in a rival wrestling promotion is like being like, Johnny Gargano will wrestle again.
why can't we just do that one instead?
No.
Okay,
I think we got
Johnny Gargano.
I think we got
Johnny Gargano will debut in AEW in 2022. I think.
Okay. I
Johnny,
think that's good.
Johnny Elite. And I think he deserves to be in a quote unquote work rate promotion, I suppose, where everybody is, busting their ass in every single match. Not that NXT Black and Gold was not a work rate promotion. It was.
Yeah.
But
it definitely seems like Gargano is of that era of the NXT crew where they, and this is again the whole conversation of like, what kind of wrestling do you prefer? That's the big thing is, do you prefer the like weird, wild, like crazy stories, the character work, the kind of more slow pace, slow build, or like weekly kind of like carnival show? Or do you prefer just the impactful, solid, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, more athletic type of wrestling? So it's those two kind of things. And I think that Gargano is one of those guys who like just wants to wrestle again. Yeah. And like wrestle his way. And so I think that AEW is a great fit for that. Especially
it would also be crazy to see Gargano in any sort of Japanese wrestling scenario.
That'd be cool.
Whether that be in like the G1 or just like a couple of like NJPW strong shows or anything like that would be very interesting to see how his wrestling style changes outside of NXT and the WWE. But that is my not so bold, maybe realistic prediction to kick it off.
Okay. I think a good prediction would be to predict who is going to win the Rumble. It's interesting because right now we're kind of sitting, because especially since this is being recorded at the beginning of the year, and the Rumble is not too far away. It's like, who is going to be that main event caliber to go against? And now with the whole shakeup of like Brock Lesnar becoming champion, what is the end result going to be? What is Mania going to be?
I hope it's not Brock versus Roman again.
Yeah, they're definitely going to come back around to it. But the question is, who will win the Rumble and move up to main event Mania? I honestly can't for the life of me figure out. No, you know what? Here's going to be my bold prediction.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
I'm actually not going to go with the men's Rumble. I'm going to go with the women's Rumble.
Oh.
I think Bayley is going to return and win the Rumble.
This has been a hot topic amongst my wrestling group chat, is that every year they do like a big $10 Royal Rumble raffle type scenario. And last year I won my money back because I won the most eliminations. I picked who got the most eliminations. But this year I haven't done the form yet, but everybody is picking Bayley to come back and win the Rumble. And I think that it's very interesting. And I think that would be a really good way to bring somebody back after they've been off TV for so long.
I just look at the roster and I really can't tell. There could be a case for Rhea Ripley, but right now she's not really in that main event scene.
No.
And it could be Liv Morgan, but I really don't think so. And I
That's
think
giving somebody who's lost so many chances.
I know. I think
yeah, she's over, but like, come on. Like,
I think
you can't
I
be
don't
doing that.
know where Bailey is in terms of her recovery from her injury. So I really don't know. I think it's been enough time where if Bailey comes back, it's going to be a huge pop. And I think the Women's Royal Rumble is still fresh enough where they want to give it to specific people. And I think with Sasha having her injury recently, and they said she's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, then it's definitely not going to be Sasha.
Yeah.
So then it's like, who has won the Royal Rumble? Asuka, Charlotte, Becky, Bianca, and that's it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, who is that top level tier wrestler? Well, one of the original 4 horsewomen, Bailey.
You're probably right. You know, I want to,
unless it's something crazy and wild.
Yeah.
But I think Bailey winning the Rumble.
Make Xia Li win the Royal Rumble. Let's see what happens. Make who could be make Io Shirai win the Royal Rumble and see what happens. Like, that would be cool.
My only other prediction could maybe be Naomi, but I'm not too sure. But I think Bailey coming back, winning the Rumble. I don't know if she would be a face, but because right now you have 2 heel champions.
I think she'd have to be, no?
I think she would have.
If it's 2 heel champions, yeah, I think
I don't know.
You would have to.
But I feel like that might be a good prediction. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, that's a fair one. Okay. Let's see. What is interesting? I think that Gable Stevenson is going to wrestle Brock Lesnar in 2022.
That's a pretty good one.
I think so. I mean, they're building it up. Maybe it's going to take some time, but I'm cautiously optimistic about another Olympic medalists being in the WWE, and we've seen the success of Braun Breaker so far, and he's an athlete turned wrestler. However, I mean, he does have, the Steiner bloodline. So I think that obviously puts him ahead of Gable Stevenson. But they drafted this man to Raw, Marty. They drafted this man.
I know. He was in the draft, and he was like one of like the main picks, and then he still hasn't shown up.
I mean, he must be training, and I think that he did show up in the crowd for something. So I do think that he will debut.
Yeah.
And the big thing will be he wrestles Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. He could just wrestle somebody stupid and crush them.
But that's boring. We want to go for big time predictions.
Well, yeah. And if you're trying to make a star out of somebody who is a relative unknown in the world of wrestling, sure, he is known by sports media and people who follow the Olympics and whatnot. But I don't know that those two fandoms intersect too much. So to make a star, you're going to have to, knock down one of your perennial cash cows, your big dogs. You gotta knock somebody down. And I think Brock would be okay with having another high level wrestler or whatever be in that spot. And and I hope that happens. And I hope it kind of spells the end of the Brock Lesnar just coming back and winning the belt kind of era, and just let somebody else take that spot of being the dominating, like, big.
I think so.
Athletic guy
passing the torch, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, that
it's
would be
a good
really
prediction.
cool.
Let's see. I have a few in my mind. I wish I knew more about New Japan. And I wish I knew more about Impact and ROH and that sort of stuff. I mean, here's a bold prediction. With ROH, they did Final Battle. And they said that, they're going to be coming back mid 2022. They're just taking a break right now. Probably seeing how the pandemic's going to continue to ride out. See what happens. See if they can probably find new sponsors or new people that are interested. As we saw at Hard to Kill, literally last night, after we're recording this the day after Hard to Kill Impact. ROH has invaded Impact. The ROH titles are being defended on Impact. Jonathan Gresham said that he needs to wrestle two people that made the ROH championship what it is. Now, there's a few people that could be. My prediction is going to be, that's so true. Here's the problem is when he made that claim, Samoa Joe was still with NXT. Now he's not anymore. He's not with WWE anymore. So when Jonathan Gresham made that proclamation, it most likely would have been two people. Bryan Danielson and CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet to say that it will be those two dudes.
You think that Gresham is going to wrestle Bryan Danielson and CM Punk?
Yeah.
Whew.
I think that, but I kind of feel like that's safe though, because it was so obvious, unless he's talking about some other people. Because again, there's been so many ROH champions. There's been so many ROH champions. I mean, he could be talking about Austin Aries, even though Austin Aries is kind of canceled. He could be talking about Homicide. He could be talking about,
Kevin Owens.
He could be talking about Kevin, or actually, does Kevin Owens win the? Oh, wait, yeah. Yes, he did. I don't know. I don't remember. He could be talking about Adam Cole. Adam Cole's a 3-time ROH champion. He's technically has held the ROH championship more than Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. So I don't know, but I feel like that's what everybody was sort of thinking was going to happen. So will that happen this year is the question. It's a long year.
Well, I mean, if ROH right now is not a thing and they're, recuperating and trying to figure out what their future plans are, it would make sense for them to just truck out all of their superstars, all of their best guys to other promotions and just make that brand recognizable again. So it's not out of the question that, Gresham shows up on a Dynamite and challenges, Adam Cole or Danielson or Punk.
Yeah. And Punk and Danielson seem like they're pretty hard set on still going. I mean, Danielson, obviously he can wrestle like crazy, and Punk's been doing nothing but trying to show that he can still wrestle, while Joe, I feel like Joe might be done. I don't know.
Sadly.
We'll have to see.
Sadly. Yeah.
And then everyone else is kind of tricky. And I feel like if you made that bold claim and he's not only said it just the one time, he said it a time after time after time. So I feel like they might be in the works already. So I feel like, it's going to be Gresham wrestles Punk and Danielson.
Nice. Put it in the bingo card.
What do you think? What's your next one?
My next prediction is that Let's see. Maybe that's
Could be a simple one. Could be could be some, you could do something wild where it's just like this event will happen or this type of match will happen.
I want this to happen, and I want it to be something that is crazy for this promotion. But I want Okada from New Japan Pro Wrestling to wrestle in AEW. And I also want Tanahashi to come to AEW as well to wrestle. And now that they both have belts, and one of them has a belt that has been defended in AEW, it could happen. It really could happen. And I haven't followed New Japan as much this year on account of it being a little bit hectic, but I've watched like the last couple of Wrestle Kingdoms, and it would be really, truly spectacular to maybe get Okada Omega in AEW again. That would be really awesome. So I'm gonna say my bold prediction is Okada and Tanahashi come to AEW, to North America.
Awesome. I'll let you write that because I don't remember how to spell their names.
Okay.
So I'll let you do that one. But I think that's good. Let's see. This is interesting. I feel like some things that should happen is it shouldn't just be like this person wrestles, this person wrestles, this person wrestles, whatever. I feel like there should also be some things of like events will happen or like something crazy, like a moment or something like that. I'm gonna make the prediction. I'm gonna make the prediction that whoever wins this year's Money in the Bank cashes in the night of.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that. Do you have any ideas of who is going to win Money in the Bank?
No clue, especially after this last year where they gave it to Otis and then didn't.
Stole it from Otis. Okay.
No, I really have no clue. I hope that they learned from that. I seriously thought that like, I seriously thought that they were going to do something with Otis, and actually like, was that this last year? Yes. Right. Yeah. Because then Miz got it and then Miz became,
yeah.
So, yeah, like I thought that they were going to do something with it because Otis was so over. And then they completely scrapped everything to do with that. Like they scrapped Otis and Mandy. They scrapped Otis and Miz. They released Tucker. Like, so I hope that they've learned from that and that they pick someone and like, yeah. Oh, wait, no. That was technically last year's. Shit, that was last year's. It just carried into this year because Big E won the Money in the Bank. So that was 2019.
Time. What is time? Time.
Or no, wait, that was 2020. No, that was 2020 because, oh my God, being in a new year makes it confusing. No, wait, that was 2020. Otis won 2020 Money in the Bank. Big E won 2021 Money in the Bank.
Jesus.
Jeez. But yes, I think that my guess is that whoever wins will cash it in the night of. Who will win it?
Damian Priest. Who the hell knows? Maybe.
A joke answer would be actually no, not necessarily a joke answer. I think it could in fact be Austin Theory.
Oh, Interesting.
Women's, I have no goddamn clue. I have no clue who would win Money in the Bank. Women's, maybe like Sasha Banks. It could be a good pick. But anyways, yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay, so on the heels of you
We got
using a
7 so far.
WWE, yeah, on the heels of you using a WWE event for your prediction, I predict that NXT 2.0 is going to rehash a not used pay-per-view and present it as a new NXT 2.0 premium live event. So we're gonna get one of the old pay-per-view names back. Maybe it will be like a WCW one, and just to spite Cody again.
Right.
But I think it would be cool if they brought back like what hasn't been seen in a while. Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. What's another one? New Year's Revolution. No, because they do New Year's Evil now.
Yeah.
No Way Out
Yeah.
would be,
that'd be cool.
Is another one. Okay, so you're saying that NXT 2.0 specifically is going to rehash an old pay-per-view idea?
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to bring one back.
Okay.
And that's kind of been the thing, right? Like Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc.
They did. I'm curious if NXT 2.0 will do it anymore now, because it depends on if they do Vengeance Day again this year.
Yeah, and what about In Your House? Like that's gone over pretty well in the previous iterations of NXT.
And they did do,
and now the color scheme even matches In Your House.
That's true. They did do Halloween Havoc still. So was that technically NXT 2.0 or was that? I don't remember. Yes, it was, because they did.
Yeah.
Because they did. I think that was the first Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker match.
Yeah.
Or was that? No, that was War Games.
Oh. Was it? Okay. Well, anyway, that's the prediction is that NXT 2.0 brings back another nostalgia pay-per-view, or just like one that's not used, like Vengeance or whatever.
Well, yeah, they already did do Vengeance Day.
Right.
It'll be interesting if they bring that back. If they do bring that back, then obviously they're gonna stick with the theme of like the pay-per-views that they've already done. Like they'll do Great American Bash again. They'll do In Your House again. If they do another one, that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. Alrighty. Let's put that in. Let's see. What's a quick fast one? What's a quick fast one? Santana and Ortiz win the tag team championships in New York.
Oh, that's beautiful. I would love that. I would love for Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz to continue on as a trio and recreate old times, you know? And I really, really love Santana and Ortiz. I've said this many times that they are my favorite members of the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
And they're so fun to watch, and they're really, really good tag team wrestlers. And like, yeah, even watching them in like LAX, I was like, oh man, these guys are awesome. So I really, really would love them to get a push and for them to win tag team gold in NYC. That would be so beautiful.
Yeah. I think specifically winning it in New York again would be like choice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that.
Oh, it's very good. Let's see. What am I thinking here? Okay. Is it too wild for me to stick with? Okay, I'm going to stick with NXT 2.0 for a second. And I think Braun Breaker is going to get promoted to the main roster in 2022.
So one that I was actually going to say was going to be, no joke, I was going to say Braun Breaker wins a world title in 2022.
Woo!
Like even more so than just getting promoted. I think he goes to the main roster, and then by the end of 2022, he either wins the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship.
I don't know about that. I don't know that.
I could see it being the WWE Championship for sure.
What color is that one?
That's the black one.
Wow. I don't know. Like I think the WWE is really high on him.
I think it's almost guaranteed that he's going to have like a couple months run with the NXT Championship and then go up to the main roster. With how much they've loved him.
Right.
I think they'll give him a stint, show him off, try to build him up, and then bring him up. It's an even bolder claim that he'll win a championship on the main roster.
I think he'll win a championship, but I don't think it will be the two big ones. I think he'll get promoted and he'll probably become like Intercontinental or US champion within the year. I don't know that he'll get the big title, but that's because like I'm trying to lower my expectations for him. I think he's really cool too. Like I've been very impressed with his work, but I don't know if he's big main title material just yet. I think it's going to take a little bit more time. But
so do you want to say Braun Breaker goes to the main roster and wins a championship?
Yes, I'll do that. Sure.
Okay.
That's reasonable for me.
Okay. I think we got to do something in the indies. What's something wild and crazy? It's tough because it's like the indies are so weird and specific, and there's so many promotions. So trying to pick something that'll happen there is tough. And I don't know if there's any big like indie darling that like everybody's really talking about right now. I feel like most of them have been picked up and signed in different places. Mm-hmm. What's our ratio of? We got a lot of WWE. Let's do some AW. There's a lot of things that I predict will definitely happen. And so I don't know necessarily I want to throw them on a bingo card because I feel like it's kind of too easy. I feel like we're definitely getting Wardlow's face turn this year. I feel like we're going to get Thunder Rosa winning the women's championship against Britt Baker this year. My bold prediction is that Cody goes back on his promise of fighting for the world title.
Woohoo, baby.
I feel like that's a pretty good one.
Especially if he turns heel and then does it.
I don't think he's ever going to turn heel. I think he's just living in this like, I think he's just straight up living in this Cena love him, hate him world where like half the audience sees him as a heel. The other half sees him as a babyface, and he's just going to ride that line. But I feel like I saw okay. So where this comes from is I saw on Twitter someone say that it was a pretty crazy dream scenario, and it was that in Danielson versus Hangman 2, they weren't gonna reveal the judges until the end of the match. And what this person said, and I can't remember whose Twitter account it was, but they said that The match was going to go to 60 minutes. It was then going to reveal the judges. And one of the judges was going to be Cody. And Cody was going to give it to Hangman. And that then Cody was going to loom what he did over Hangman for like months, being like, I'm the reason why you still have that belt. And then basically go back to like, then turn it on its head and be like, well, now I'm challenging you for that belt in some way. I forget what the specifics were, but I feel like that proclamation was made in like the first year of AEW that Cody was never going to challenge for the world title. I feel like that's an easy character turn that you could do, and it would be such big heat. And it would be a great way to then put over maybe Hangman even more. But it would be such a cool dynamic of Hangman versus Cody, maybe.
So much heat. It's like, it makes my skin crawl to even think that Cody would do such a thing without being a heel. Because that's just like, oh, you promised.
Yeah, exactly.
You promised, Cody. You promised.
But I feel like that would be really cool to see. So, yeah. And it would be it, and it's also a sort of out there possibility. And so I think that that's a good prediction, because it could happen. It'd be really crazy if it did happen, but at the same time, it might not happen because they might be like, no, we said this, we're going to stick to it. So that's mine. Let's see how many we got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're almost halfway there.
Okay.
40 minutes into the podcast.
Okay. My number 12, we'll make it quick. This is maybe a controversial opinion as well. That is not great, but I think it is realistic. I think a big star from AEW is not going to renew their contract, and they're going to go elsewhere. I don't want to name anybody because I actually don't know who that might be, but
yeah, I don't know any of the contract situations in
I think AEW. There is a chance that we see somebody else not necessarily thrilled with how they're being booked or the opportunities that they're being given, and they are going to move on from AEW.
So then just to sort of like categorize it, like when you say like a big name, you mean like popular AEW like staple.
Yeah, like somebody who is like Miro level, not Miro specifically, because I don't think he would go back to the WWE.
No.
But I think maybe I said I wouldn't name names, but now I'm speculating. Maybe Brian Cage leaves.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been utilized very well outside from the initial Team Taz stuff. And I really like Brian Cage. I think he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, same.
And I think, I don't know. He might be too old for a run in the WWE, but he is good. And Vince probably would like him because he's a big, sweaty boy. And then maybe Pac goes elsewhere for a while too. Like maybe he doesn't re-up immediately with AEW, but does actually go to Japan and wrestles for quite some time as a part of NJPW or something, and then maybe makes his return eventually to AEW. But yeah, I do have this feeling, there's this kind of looming feeling that AEW is getting so much talent, they simply could not make enough room for them. So and people are going to leave.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So your prediction is that a top AEW talent won't renew their contract and go elsewhere.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. I think a real quick one. It didn't happen last year. So two things didn't happen this past. No, it did happen this year. Ooh, right. It did happen this past year. So what I was thinking is I thought that I forgot that Elimination Chamber did happen this past year, because that's where Drew won, and Drew won the Elimination Chamber. Then Miz cashed in. Right. TLC didn't happen this past year. They already announced Money in the Bank and all that stuff. I'm just trying to think of like a match type that will for sure happen at a show. Because I'm kind of thinking that maybe TLC. I think that they realize that TLC and Extreme Rules are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, and now that they switched over to doing day one as a premium live event. I think that it feels too general. What I want to say is I think a big gimmick match will happen on a show that you don't expect. But that happened last year they did the Hell in the Cell at Crown Jewel. And that was cool because it was like, oh my God, Hell in a Cell isn't happening at Hell in a Cell. Thank God. I feel like there will be a TLC match at WrestleMania.
Ooh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'll throw that out there.
Do you have any speculations of who would be involved in such a match?
If the state of the Intercontinental Championship wasn't so horrible right now, I would have said the Intercontinental Championship, because it's the workhorse. It should be the workhorse title, Nakamura.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, it could probably end up being. It depends on who's in the world title picture. Maybe it's a tag team TLC match. I just feel like TLC is such a WWE staple. I mean, I've said before, I hate the fact that they've turned gimmicks into pay-per-views when it's like, it's so much cooler to use it as like a big end of rivalry climax. And they've done away with that. And now it's like, well, Hell in a Cell. Yeah, there's going to be Hell in a Cell. Ooh. Like it was used. It was used to specifically end big rivalries. And that's what it should have been. Or like Elimination Chamber was this crazy monstrosity thing. Or the fact that Money in the Bank happened at Mania. But I feel like TLC is too good of a gimmick match that but they also realized that like Extreme Rules and TLC are basically the same pay-per-view, and they happened only like a month or two away from each other. And they'd rather keep Extreme Rules because it's more general than TLC. So I think that the TLC match will return. And my prediction is that will be at Mania.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to do another quick one. I think there will be an indie promotion that receives a TV deal that will help them become another destination for talent. So specifically, I think maybe GCW gets a deal. I think they might already have one with or MLW or GCW. One of those promotions had some sort of handshake deal with Vice, I think, to be on TV. So I think one of the indie promotions gets a TV slot and starts to build up as another potential destination for wrestlers who do not want to be in AEW or WWE.
Perfect. I think it's good. A lot of indie promotions are starting to get like bigger and bigger. I think that's
maybe it's a streaming deal too, you know, like that's like not out of the realm of expectation for people to be like, oh, what's this? Like, and get like a fun indie promotion to be able to have like weekly programming on a streamer of some sort.
I mean, even it was announced that I think it was Jeff Jarrett is like a backer / producer for, I forget the promotion name, but it was like one of the one of the indie promotions that was in the UK, like basically how NXT came to the UK and they basically took all of the great British indie wrestlers and then made all of the indie promotions die.
Yeah.
But now I think one of them came back, and I can't remember which promotion it was, but it was that Jeff Jarrett is joining them to build it up. And so that could be even one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think there are indie shows, and I think GCW is definitely one of those that could.
It's already got such a cult following too.
It really
right? Like
does.
people really care, and there have been really amazing moments in the past year that have happened at GCW, like Cardona and stuff, right? So that's like,
yeah. And then I mean, this
crazy.
past show or pay-per-view or whatever it was that happened, Scotty 2 Hottie
right,
and Jeff Jarrett show up.
oh, they both showed up, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because Jeff Jarrett smashed a guitar on somebody, a classic
Effie.
Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, on Effie, yes. A classic Jeff Jarrett maneuver. That's my prediction, is that an indie gets big.
Gets big. Let's see. What's another quick one? Gosh. Golly gee. I'm going to guess that Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker will be in a steel cage.
Ooh, okay. Very nice.
such a just like
very nice.
All right. but I don't know.
Good.
I was going to say that there will be a women's steel cage match in AEW this year. But I kind of want to make it a bolder prediction, and I think that would be like a big climax to their feud. Also, because then like I think that Hayter versus Britt will happen before then.
And do you think
but
the reign of terror continues and Britt retains until Thunder Rosa takes it off of her?
I don't know. It's tricky. I feel like Hayter is going to turn on Britt before Thunder Rosa gets her title match. Because I don't know who else Britt can face. That's the problem. But if it doesn't happen and Hayter isn't until after, then I think a steel cage is a great idea to keep Rebel and Hayter and anyone else out of the match. So there's that whole thing too. But I just want to make a big bold prediction of like, what will that title match be? And I'm going to say a steel cage.
Okay. I think I have another bold-ish prediction. I think that Bray Wyatt is going to reunite the Wyatt family and debut in Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to go to AEW right away. Bray Wyatt, at least. I have
actually. So one I was gonna say next, but maybe I'll just tweak it, and we can get a 2 for 1 here.
Sure.
I was gonna say a WWE release star returns to WWE, and I was actually gonna say Bray Wyatt specifically.
Oh, interesting.
I was gonna say Bray Wyatt return. I was gonna say Bray Wyatt returns to WWE.
Wow. You think he'll go back?
I don't know, but I wouldn't see. I mean, he left because of creative differences, essentially. Yeah. And maybe those could be solved. Like, remember when it was the whole idea when people thought that after WrestleMania 35, when Bayley and Sasha had to drop the tag team belts and Sasha left, that people thought that Sasha was going to leave and she just came back as if nothing had changed. because
Right.
they had worked out what they were going to do. So it could be a thing of, yeah, she leaves or he left, and they work out what they're going to do. Who knows? But let's get two out with this one, because we need a few more. So
Yeah,
you're going to say that Wyndham,
a reunited Wyatt family, the Wyndham Collective debut in Impact, and that would be Bray and I think Redbeard, and then they would pull Adam Shearer or Braun Strowman away from EC3 and whatever the hell that thing is going on.
right? Well, I mean, Eric and Shearer are already booked to team on a show.
Yeah.
Against the crazy duo of, what was it? It was Enzo Amore and someone else. I can't remember who it was.
Isn't it just Enzo and Big Cass?
No, it wasn't Big Cass. It was someone else. It was another one that was like, what the hell is this show? I remember I sent it to you and I was like, this is a real match that's being booked. And I can't remember who the fourth man was, but it was Eric Redbeard, Adam Shearer against Enzo, and
it's Bully Ray.
Bully Ray. That's what it was. I was like, what is this? What is this? Okay. So we're going to lock it in. You're going to say Wyatt family reunion, essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say
that Bray Wyatt goes back to the WWE.
No. I'm going to say that a released WWE wrestler returns to WWE.
Oh, okay. All right. I accept that, even though it is a little bit vague.
Yeah, but
we
have a good mix of like very specific and very vague. So
yeah. Okay. So who's next? You? Or wait,
You.
or is it back to me?
yeah, but you again.
Okay, well, I'm taking this one from our list that from the things that we talked about previously. How many are we at right now, Marty? How many more predictions do we need?
We're at 17, so we need 8 more.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to say. Dem boys, the Briscoes, show up in AEW and they win the AEW Tag Team Championship.
Okay. Briscoes win.
Yeah.
Briscoes win AEW Tag Team Champions.
Yes. I don't care that it probably won't happen, but I'm just gonna say
I think that I think they're gonna show up no matter what.
Yeah.
I've if you're not following the Briscoes on, I don't know if they do this on Twitter. I haven't checked, but on Facebook. If you don't follow the Briscoes on Facebook, they post the funniest promos. And it's just them on their farm, and then something happened, and it's like them responding to FTR or something else. It's them just yelling. And I've started, like, I didn't really know who the Briscoes was, and I knew that they were like a big like indie like tag team, like everybody loved them. And I heard of their matches in GCW and then in ROH and stuff. And as soon as I started watching these promos, I'm like, I love these guys. Their dynamic is so funny. Just like,
they're crazy.
Them good old boys.
Young Bucks versus the Briscoes for the AEW Tag Team Championship belts would be great. Throw in the FTR too. Like, let's say like it's a.
I think them versus FTR is going to happen no matter what. But I think saying that they'll win the tag team belts is a pretty bold prediction. I actually don't think that they will, but for the sake of this assignment, I must be a little bit bold. Let's see. Should do an NXT. The problem is I don't know that much about NXT anymore. Honestly, I know Braun Breaker.
Tony D'Angelo wins the NXT 2.0 championship.
Oh, Lord.
Do it. Put it on the board.
Sure. Fuck it. I don't care.
Tony D'Angelo wins the NXT 2.0.
Tony D wins big.
Yeah, Tony D wins. Tony D win big.
Sure, screw it.
Nice. Okay, how about this? AEW gets another set of championships, and this time they come in the form of women's tag team championships.
I think you're more likely to have the trios.
Yeah, okay.
They don't need more women's belts.
That's true.
I think if anything, the trios titles.
All right, let's do that then. The trios titles arrive.
Okay,
AEW
trios titles. Although I will say I think if there's any brand new belt, I think it's the trios title, but I'm starting to actually get worried that that's not ever going to happen because a lot of the trios are now not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's happening with Marco Stunt. I assume that he's found more success in his music than in wrestling. And I think he's
going to be on The Voice. I honestly, okay, that's my bold prediction. Marco Stunt is going to be on The Voice in 2022.
Let's throw it in there. Marco Stunt on The Voice. Let's throw it on there.
I actually really think he's going to be on The Voice. Like, I believe it. I don't know if he'll go far, but just the sheer PR potential for AEW, for The Voice, to have him on, and then for the judges to turn around and be like, whoa, oh my God, you can sing? Who are you? Oh, I'm Marco Stunt. I'm a professional wrestler. You a wrestler? Whoa.
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, he wasn't there for Jurassic Express winning the belts. I think he's just found more success in his music than wrestling. And I think he's probably riding out his contract. And then you look at all the other trios and you're going and you look at them and it's like, yeah, sure. You could have Death Triangle. You could have some form of the Young Bucks with Kenny, or maybe whatever Adam Cole and Red Dragon becomes. But then any other trios, I'm kind of like, what other trios are there? I mean,
Best Friends, Dark Order.
Best Friends, Dark Order. Yep, that's true.
You could do a Hardy Family Office something.
It's true. There's a lot of
it's there. It's the potential's still there, and you could do a pinnacle one if you put MJF with FTR. Like, it's possible. I know some of our fave trios have kind of fallen by the wayside or have not happened. But you know, it's still there, and I think it's a very valid 2022 prediction. So how many more do we need now?
Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We need 4 more.
Okay, well, Marty, please enlighten our listeners with your theory about an NJPW superstar. This one, I think, will happen.
Oh, that one. Okay. I was about to be like, I don't know anything about New Japan. What are you talking about? I know what you mean. No, that's a good safe one, I think. So I told Anthony about this the other day, that I saw a tweet that someone had pulled a clip from an interview. It was a post-match promo from New Japan where it was Will Ospreay saying that he doesn't want to go through the forbidden door. He essentially didn't want to go to WWE. Like, this is all subtext and stuff, and reading between the lines, but like, he didn't want to go to WWE. He doesn't want to go somewhere for 8 months and then get released. And he specifically said, I'm not leaving New Japan until I main event the Tokyo Dome. Wrestle Kingdom 16. He main evented the Tokyo Dome.
Night 2 against Okada, main event, Tokyo Dome.
So the question is he going to leave New Japan?
Is he going to strap that TNT dynamite right to the forbidden door and explode?
Would it be AEW? I think AEW is probably the best bet because of the fact that he was on the Jericho Cruise and he worked with obviously worked with Jericho and all those guys and Orange Cassidy, and I think that's a pretty good bet. So yeah, Ospreay to AEW.
Okay, I have one quick one. It's probably pretty stupid, but might as well. I think our friend, young superstar, big future ahead of him, Bill Goldberg, wrestles his last match in 2022. His final match is going to be this year.
Who do you think it's going to be against?
Roman Reigns. Probably. Baron Corbin. I don't know. Sorry. Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss retire Bill Goldberg.
I think we got to say who he's going to wrestle against. Because there's only a handful of people. There's only a handful of people. We know he faced Lashley. We know he faced Drew. I mean, Big E on the New Day podcast forever ago said that his dream match is to face Goldberg.
Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe
all
Big
right.
E some way somehow wins back the championship, and he faces Big E faces Big E. Big E faces Goldberg in one final match and retires him.
All right, Goldberg final match against Big E.
Big man slapping meat.
I think we just need two more. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Two more. This is tricky. I got one that I want to say just because I really hope it happens.
Why not?
But I want to throw like an interesting spin on it, and I really don't know what the interesting spin would be. Essentially, I want Danhausen to go to AEW, but I don't know what the interesting spin would be. I feel like it's inevitable.
Danhausen becomes TNT champion.
Locking it in. Whoops. in our Facebook chat, I just wrote Dan space Hausen.
Yeah. Danhausen beats Hook to become TNT champion.
I think Danhausen is going to go to AEW. I saw an interview with Big TK, and and they asked him about Danhausen, and he said, "Yeah, people like him a lot." But he's injured, so we'll see what happens. And it's like,
TK,
just sign the man. He's
sometimes,
gold.
Sometimes Tony Khan is just a little bit too blunt for his own good.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Danhausen becomes TNT champ.
Let's do one. We'll do one more AEW one.
I also think that Danhausen becoming TNT champion is really funny because his whole gimmick is that he wants to like take over TV. Like,
yeah,
he wants to take over TV so he can rule the world, and so becoming like the champ of a network would be like perfect.
Totally. Yeah. To go off of that, this is our last one, right?
Yes. So we have a good mix of, I feel like we have a good mix of like AEW and WWE with a couple of, I think we could probably throw something else in here with like ROH or Impact or New Japan maybe, but just depends. What do you think? What's one that comes to your mind?
Hook wins AEW gold of any kind. Hook wins the tag team championships with his father. Just kidding. That was I can't. I can't do it.
Here's one. What is something that people really did think was going to happen this past year and then didn't? Is there anything that sticks out to you in your mind?
Well, Bray Wyatt debuting in AEW is what people thought would happen, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Another one that sticks out in my mind is that Dominic Mysterio would turn on his dad.
And another one is Kevin Owens leaving the WWE.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about Regal? What say you about Regal? Where does Regal go in 2022?
I think Regal retires, to be perfectly frank. I think he's just gonna I think he's legitimately done. I think he is just I don't see him going anywhere else. I don't see him doing much other than maybe becoming a coach or something like that. Or I don't know, because I think that he's such a great ass. I think he's such a great character, and I'm so sad that they released him. And clearly they're releasing and getting rid of anything that had to do with NXT 1.0, which sucks a lot. Should we make so the peek behind the curtain for the real fans who are still listening and or watching the podcast? We were originally going to do a different episode today. And then I kind of came in and said, why don't we do this sort of 2022 prediction one, and we'll save that one for later. Because Anthony came with this idea of, what if we straight up do a dream match of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, William Regal leaving WWE and going to do something else? Possibly Impact, possibly the revamp of ROH. Should we straight up just say that Triple H will leave WWE?
That's the kind of clickbait we need. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So our final spot is that Triple H leaves WWE.
Wow. It's a pretty good list. I think there's a fun mix of things there. There's not that much ridiculous shit. Maybe Tony D wins big is the most ridiculous thing that we have.
Tony D winning the NXT title.
Tony D beats Carmelo Hayes for the North American Championship.
No, it's got to be specifically for the NXT title.
No, he's gonna beat Braun Breaker. he's gonna beat Tony D beats Braun Breaker.
I mean, everybody's in on Tony D, right? It's not the
my god
worst gimmick that they've ever made.
It's been
but I think that's a great list.
Yeah,
I think that is a great list of some stuff that could definitely happen and some stuff that probably will not, but it's really funny. And some stuff that probably is going to happen, maybe not specifically in the way that we think.
Yeah.
Things like Goldberg's final match probably is going to happen. Who against? We don't know. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, 100% going to happen. What kind of match will it be? We don't know. But I think that this is a great mix of stuff. So obviously in the video version, I will have a graphic showing our bingo card. But if you want to make your own Book It Vince bingo card for the year, we would love for you to join us. So I'll definitely make sure that on social media, like on Twitter and Facebook, that there is a version that you can download and fill out yourself, but also throw it into the description of the YouTube video, a link to be able to download it. So that then tag us at Book It Vince Pod on Twitter, hashtag Book It Vince. Send us your bingo cards, because I would love to see what people's crazy predictions are going to be for this year. So hit us up and maybe we'll show them off on some of the next episodes. Or end of 2022, we do a big wrap up and we go through our bingo card and see if we got anything right, / maybe look at other people's bingo cards. We'll see. But
I know I'm going to get a bunch right. So
maybe we'll even do our own individual ones. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to throw in our crazy ideas that we didn't really want to say or that we come up with later. But yeah, so I think that was great. So please let us know what predictions you have for 2022 in terms of the world of professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, Impact, ROH, New Japan, all that stuff. If you got any crazy predictions, let us know in the comments. To close out the episode, I think a great question to ask and just to leave with the listeners and watchers is, this is episode 51. We did 50 episodes already, and it's been crazy. It's been fun. We've had awesome guests. It's turned from a fun thing that we decided to do in the middle of the pandemic to starting to get legs and starting to move along, and people are listening to it, which is incredible. And we're super thankful for that. I guess this can also be a recommendation instead of like a normal match recommendation. But we can throw one on there as well. What is an episode that you think, Anthony, that people should go listen to? What's one of our episodes that you think needs more love, or that you want people to go back? Because we have gotten a lot of new listeners over the past couple months. Is there an old episode that you think people need to go back and check out again?
I think one of my personal favorite episodes is pretty early days. It was episode number 12. What if the Hurricane joined the Dark Order?
That was the one I was going to say. That was the one I was going to say.
Okay.
No, but that's a great one too. No, pick that one.
I think that's a really good one. That's a really good episode because it's one of the ones where we make some pretty awesome discoveries as we book it. And
yes.
And if our listeners don't know, like, we very rarely like pre-plan stuff. Sometimes we have guests that have some like sort of talking points like pre-planned or completely fully fleshed out. But for us, we usually just start off with a feud. We kind of talk about it a little bit before we start recording, and then it just rolls. And that has also happened during our episode where I accidentally booked the Rock Christmas Carol.
Yep.
And because we were trying to book with Melissa G, our guest, a very legit Macho Man versus The Rock feud, and then I had I saw God, and I just figured something out, you know.
But yeah, the Hurricane joining the Dark Order was one where, like you said, it just stuff sort of just started to happen. Like, I think it just straight up started off as the Hurricane versus Orange Cassidy. And then it just molded into this thing of like, wouldn't it be crazy if Gregory Helms joined the Dark Order? And obviously this was at the time when Brody Lee was still with us, and Gregory Helms working with Brody Lee, and then the Hurricane like joins the Dark Order, and he gets the purple and black colors, and they're bad guys, and he becomes like the super villain of AEW. Like, that was such a fun one. I guess another one that I think people should definitely go back and listen to. It's so funny how you look at a lot of these old episodes, honestly, and a lot of them will never happen. Not because the people are not alive or anything like that. It's because things like Shawn Michaels turns heel and betrays Adam Cole. Like, it's not gonna happen. But like, that one was really fun because it was definitely more of like us figuring out us thinking of how Undisputed Era was going to break up and what was going to happen, and having this like master versus apprentice like feud go on. So
that was a very emotional booking too. You know, like there was a lot of like real feelings and
some
tension,
some
drama in that feud. And honorable mention, the one episode that we've recorded together. I think it was really, really fun. The one episode that we recorded in person so far, which is the X-Pac. The X-Pac Matt Hardy versus Inner Circle. I think that one was really fun because I had a very dumb brain that day, and it was very, very good.
I guess my honorable mention will be Anthony Ogogo is the Ivan Drago of AEW, which I think could still happen. I think could still happen. Good. So, but there we go. So yeah, if you've become a new listener in the past couple of months, highly recommend you to go back and listen to our old episodes, because there's some hidden gems in there that we're really proud of. And I know we've definitely grown since then, but there's some great episodes that I think were really fun. So go check those out. Obviously, you can go to our website, unknownerrorfilms.com/book events, or of course, book events on all podcast platforms. To close out with a match recommendation, I think a really quick, simple one that I definitely want to recommend, just because I was thinking like, oh, maybe this episode's been, it's pretty good time. But we should do a match recommendation because we always do a match recommendation. I'm going to recommend people go watch the Rampage street fight match between Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus Anjay and Tay Conte, because it was a banger and people should go check it out, because I personally just really think that I saw a Twitter thread that was saying like, there's all these people complaining about like, oh, the AEW women's division is doesn't have any stars. It was a bunch of people complaining that Jade Cargill like winning the TBS title was stupid, which they're dumb. If you think the TBS title and any of the other women like aren't stars, you're dumb. I'm sorry, but I feel that street fight was so good. And there were so many crazy moments in it. And I think that the AEW women's division is really, 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 really solid right now. And I think them establishing kind of high tier and low tier wrestlers, not saying that like Jade Cargill is low tier. I'm saying like a mid tier, you know, the main event and the mid card level, I think is really good. But I think the fact that you have a women's feud that has nothing to do with a title happening on TV is a big deal, because you don't see that anywhere else. And I will go to bat for the women's division in AEW all the time, because I think that they have some really great characters, some really great performers. And like you look at WWE, and right now the only female feud that doesn't surround a title is was Naomi and Sonya Deville. Now Naomi is trying to go after Charlotte's title. So, but like that was the only one. And in AEW, there's a bunch of feuds that have happened where it's not about a title. It's about competition. It's about respect, or it's about, you know, wrestling specifically, like Sheeta and Serena Deeb. Like it's straight up just about respect and wrestling and who is the better competitor, which is crazy. So I just think that go watch that street fight. It's not too long. It's very well paced. There's some crazy ass moments in there, and the Bunny will forever haunt my nightmares. So
very nice. Boom.
So go check that out, because you really should. Anyways, that's going to do it for us on this episode of Book It Vince. Of course, as always, you can follow us on social media, anything that we do here at Unknown Era, by checking us out at UE_films. This comes out the second week of January. So I'm already going to start promoting this. At the end of January, on January 28th, we are going to be doing a 24-hour charity stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/unknownerrorfilms, to raise money for Fuck Cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Yes, fuck cancer. So we're going to be doing a 24-hour stream on January 28th, starting at 3 p.m. To raise money for Fuck Cancer. We got a goal of $2,000, and I think that we can definitely hit that. So please come and join us. There's going to be incentives. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be playing games all day. You can, I'm sure there will be punishments and different things that you can win or pick up and stuff like that to support the stream and support the charity. So come and join us for that. You can follow us personally if you so choose to. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barton_Minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall
at Hall and Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow the podcast on Twitter. Tweet us your crazy 2022 predictions and or your own Book of Vince bingo cards at Book of Vince Pod. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. Please go watch some wrestling. Keep being excellent, and we'll see you next time.